Hi there, I'm Daniel, and this is,
Love.
and we're going to be making some challah. So we hope that you'll make some challah too. We're using a recipe from Daphna Rabinovich from the Food Network Canada. But first, we've got to wash hands, right? Okay, let's wash hands. We'll speed this part up in the real video.
How do you do that?
We'll just do like fast forward.
And will I put music on?
Maybe something like that. Oh, okay, nice and clean. So we're going to do two things at the same time. We're going to start with all of our wet ingredients. So in this one right here, Lev is going to crack some eggs. So we need 2 whole eggs and then 2 egg yolks. So I think the best way to do it is you crack 2 eggs first, and you can actually use your fingers to scoop out the yolks and put them over here. Save the egg white, put it off to the side, and then add 2 more full eggs. So Lev is going to start doing that right now. And in the background, I'm going to get some hot water from the sink. It should be just hot enough that it's warm to the touch, but it doesn't sting your fingers. It needs to be warm for the yeast, but if it's too hot, it'll burn the yeast.
I'm terrible at this.
Oh, that's okay. So Lev's going to crack some eggs, and I'm going to get some hot water. Oh, that's okay. Don't worry about it.
I don't think that is any.
That's okay. You can just crack the other... Yeah, I'll help you in a second.
Oh, I got it.
Okay, so Lev, do you want me to scoop that egg yolk out?
I can.
Okay, so scoop it out and put your egg yolk into here.
Oh, this feels so nice. It feels so good. But
know,
it's hard
right?
because it's like all squishy and good.
Okay.
It feels so weird. It feels like I'm holding like an animal egg, and like the animal mom is gonna kill me. Oh, Dad, one of the egg yolks like disintegrated.
That's okay. So crack another one into here, and if the yolk survives, you're going to put it over here.
Okay. Mess.
Okay, let's see it.
My first one was
Hold it down close so it doesn't splat. Okay, that's great. Whoa!
It feels weird.
Some people at home have like a fancy egg separator, and then some people also, it's a really good idea to just use the shells. But as you can see, if you just go in and like scoop it up with your hands, it works real well. Okay, so in that bowl, Lev has the 2 egg yolks.
Also, a little tip.
Yeah?
It's fine, like, once your hands are dirty from, like, the first or second egg, if you're putting, like, more than 2, once your hands are dirty from the first egg, just keep going, because then they'll, like...
They're going to get messy again anyways, right?
Yeah, they're, like...
Well, so I was going to say you didn't need to wash your hands yet, because you still have 2 more eggs to put in.
I do?
Yeah, 2 more whole eggs in here.
Well, I didn't know that, so,
Yeah,
okay.
that's okay.
Then we only have 1 egg left.
That's okay. We'll buy some more eggs later. Okay, so Lev's going to put 2 more whole eggs into there. And what you might have seen in the background was that I got ½ cup of warm water. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to add 2 things to it. One of them is some yeast. So I'm going to take a big tablespoon of yeast. Put that in there. And yeast need a little bit of sugar to get them all activated. So you're going to be able to tell if your yeast is still good and fresh when you put sugar into it, stir it up, and then leave it for a little bit. It'll get foamy. So you should actually be able to see that in real time in our video, but I need some sugar for that. Oh, I forgot the sugar.
Okay.
Okay.
What do I do now?
Okay, well, hang on a second.
Let's like fast forward this part.
Okay, you can give those a little stir with the whisk.
Whiskey wine.
Okay, so I'm adding two teaspoons of sugar. Now we're going to make a little bit of a sweet challah, so if you put in a little bit extra in there, it'll be okay, but you have to have enough for the yeast to actually have something to grow. Can I sneak in here for a second? Here. So you want to stir it all up. Scrape down the sides a little bit.
Oh. I can't see your head.
That's okay. So the yeast, the little bits of it will dissolve. And I'll put it over here so you can see. This is the stirring part. Oh, sorry, I'm covering your face. So the way we're going to do it is we're going to collect all of our ingredients that are wet, and we're going to put them in here first. Yeah, that's wet. And it's good. So you can put that into there now. We're going to collect all of our drippy wet ingredients into the bowl and get that going, and we're going to add our flour to it. So our flour is going to come sort of towards the end.
Oh, that's
good job, yeah. So different recipes have different things. Some of them have butter, some of them have oil. We're going to try to keep it parev, so not milk products in it. So we're going to do with oil, and some of them have sugar, and some of them have honey. So we're going to do one with honey today. So what we need, let me check our trusty little recipe here. We need a half cup of oil. So Lev, do you want to find the one that's a half there? So if you use your measuring cups and you put the oil in first, you measure that first. Then when you put the honey into the measuring cup, the honey will come out easily.
This is a half, right?
Yeah, that's it.
Okay, then put oil in it.
I'm going to fill it like that, and then you're going to put it in.
And then can I stir it?
Yeah. Okay, so you can carefully maybe pick it up with two hands. Yeah, and you're going to put it right over there. Yeah, up, in.
It smells so good.
It's good already? Is our yeast getting bigger?
I guess.
When we put it in, it was a half cup, and now it's a little bit up. So we're going to just wait. I see bubbles on top, which is good. It means that the yeast is doing its job. Okay, so if we take this same measuring cup, I'm only going to fill it like halfway because I'm putting in a quarter cup, but we used a half cup of oil, so this measuring cup is actually for a half. But the oil is going to let the honey slide out pretty easily. So add the honey into here to the wet stuff. You can use that if it didn't all slide out. Is it coming out?
Yeah, it's just still dripping all over this.
Okay. Oh yeah, the yeast is definitely bubbly now. Whoa.
What?
I don't know, the honey just, it was like...
Wait, what did?
I don't know, the honey did. You see how it's higher than 1.5 or a half now? So, and you see how it's all foamy on there?
Put it in.
Yeah, so you can put it into there.
When are we going to mix?
Well, you're going to start mixing it pretty soon. Okay, awesome. So you can use this. So
can you bring it somewhere lower?
All the wet ingredients are in there.
Can you bring it somewhere lower?
No, I think you just got to do it here.
Okay, I'm just going to get a stool.
You can bring the stool. Okay, so Lev is going to do some stirring and just get all our wet stuff all together.
Can I stir it?
Yeah, of course you can. And I'm going to start measuring the flour. In this recipe, it's 3.5 cups of flour, but from what I understand, depends on if your weather's a little dry, a little wet. It might need a little more, a little less. And the trick that I learned was that you add the flour slowly. Oh, one sec. You add the flour slowly in your mixer, a little bit at a time. It'll start to shape a ball, and it'll be really sticky when it first comes together.
Then
and
when
you keep
put
adding.
The flour on, when you put the flour on, it's not sticky.
Yeah, you do that too. But you keep adding flour until it's a ball, and the edges of it are a little bit like shaggy, edgy. And then it should be just like a little bit sticky. Like you're not aiming for dough that's not at all sticky. It gets a little bit less sticky when you let it rise. So,
and when you put the flour on it.
Yeah, and when you put the flour on the board. Okay, so ours needs 3.5 cups. Okay, let's take this. Good job.
Good. Now we can also take breaks and then just like put one of my pictures for the screen.
Yeah. So we have, for a mixer, we have a little dough hook here. But you can also just do it with a spoon and stir around, stir around, stir around.
That machine is very dangerous. That machine is, like, very dangerous. If you have one of those, then, like...
No kids allowed?
I suggest, if you're a kid, which means, like, under age of 10, then you shouldn't use that by yourself. You should get an adult over 18, adult age.
So you want to have pretty level cups. We're doing 3.5, but I'm going to put in 3 to start with, and then the last half I'll do pretty slow. Watch out.
It just smells good. When when I put it at 10 and it went everywhere.
Flies everywhere?
Do you remember that?
I do. Okay, while it's mixing, I'm going to put in a little bit of salt too, just like a half a teaspoon.
Can I do it? Half a teaspoon.
Sure.
So I can find it. That's 1 teaspoon. So this must be...
Yeah, that smaller one.
This one. No, that's not. That's a 1/4 teaspoon.
Yep.
That's
that one's a good one.
Can I eat this up?
It'll be too salty. Okay, throw it in. Careful. And when I first learned to make challah, somebody told me that I should throw in a little bit of
Mother!
a little bit of vanilla. So I liked doing that, but you don't have to.
Is anyone gonna watch this? Are you gonna put it on like YouTube?
I don't know. Maybe somebody will want to watch it. Okay, so we have all that stuff here. I always like to check and make sure that we didn't forget anything. Okay, did we do the water, the sugar, the yeast?
Water, sugar, yes.
Yeah. And did we do flour, salt?
Flour, salt, yes.
Honey, eggs, oil?
Honey, eggs, oil, yes.
And stirring?
Stirring right now.
Okay. So...
Takes a lot shorter when you use that thing. So look at that dough. It looks amazing.
So it's starting to come together, but it's still pretty sticky, so I'm going to add a little bit more.
Okay, it's half time. You take a break. No, it disappeared. My picture's gone.
Okay, so it's in there now. It's spinning around with the dough hook. So I'll probably let it go for about 10 minutes, and then afterwards we'll bring it over here and we'll knead it a little bit on...
What's knead?
Well, it's when you
Compress.
when you fold it and squish it and we'll compress it. Yeah.
Compress.
So after it's all kneaded, we're going to put it back into the metal bowl. And you can do a couple things. You can put the metal bowl with some plastic wrap in the fridge, and you can leave it overnight.
Did the metal bowl come
But we
with
want
that
it for
thing?
tonight. So we'll either leave it out in a place that's warm, like maybe over on top of a radiator with a tea towel, or some people have an oven that has a little proofing function. So we're probably going to do it like that. So we're going to let it rise until it's about doubled, and then once it's about doubled, we punch it down, and then put it back to rise until it's doubled again. After you punch it down the second time, that's when you're ready to roll it and to braid it. So now we're going to pause for a while, and then we'll come back and add to our video once it's time to do the rolling. And Lev today is going to show you how to make, not with 1 or 2 or 3 strands. He's going to show you 6 strand braided challah. It's our dinosaur braiding, which is kind of fun. Yeah. Do what? Did the hook come with the mixer?
No.
Did the bowl come with the mixer? The bowl came with the mixer. Okay. I'm just going to check on the dough and see if you can see what it looks like before we...
Yes.
Yeah, we'll fast forward.
Are we gonna like go somewhere?
Yeah, we'll go for a bike ride. Hang on a second. So this is actually starting to look pretty good. You see that it all kind of came together. And if I give it a squish, it's a little bit sticky on my fingers, but it's not crazy sticky. You know?
Ooh, that's so good. Nice. So the bad thing is when it's sticky, it sticks on your hands and it takes up some of the dough.
Yeah.
But just a tiny bit.
Yeah. One last thing that you should know that's not always written in the recipes for challah is that before you braid it all nice, it's actually a tradition to take some of the challah and we set it aside. And some people do a little burn and then give it off to the side. And I think it's really about acknowledging that even when we have something that's really great, like our challah and our celebration, there's always some things that take away a little bit from our happiness. And we think about all the people maybe who still need something to eat, all the people who don't have a nice place or a safe place to come and have Shabbat with their families. But we take this to try to remember that we're lucky for what we do have. Now, you may have other explanations for why you do that. And if eventually this video gets some comments, maybe you can say why your family might do that. So we're going to keep mixing a little bit. And then we'll pause the video. We'll come back when it's time to braid.
Can I eat some of this?
Can you eat some of the dough?
Yeah.
No, I don't think so.